The Carl B. Phillips Show.
Hosted by me, Carl B. Phillips, Uncle Carl.
The Carl B. Phillips Show.
Get ready for another great conversation on the Carl B. Phillips Show. Welcome to the Carl B. Phillips Show. I am Carl B. Phillips, Uncle Carl. Today's guest is a Florida-based inspirational jazz musician. He's a Stellar Award winner, and he's known for being a part of the 90s instrumental duo Allen and Allen. Please help me welcome Bruce V. Allen. What's going on, man?
Hey, man, you got it, boy. You got this thing.
I'm jealous. You down there in Florida. I'm up here in Michigan. We just had snow, and you down there in Florida where the weather's just good all the time.
Oh, yeah, well, it's not that good right now, but it's it's better than y'all. I mean, it ain't no snow down here. I ain't no snow, but it's about in the upper 40, upper to mid to upper 40s, and it's kind of rainy weather right now. So, to Florida people, that's kind of cool.
Well, I understand. Well, at least you don't have 20 something and snow.
I know that's right.
All right. Well, as I warned you, I'm going to ask a couple of random questions. So the first random question, if you could go anywhere and do anything for a month with all expenses paid, where would you go and what would you do?
Probably I'd go to Dubai.
Okay.
And just, enjoy the sights, ride the camels and, see the sights, that are there. So that's matter of fact, that's one of me and my wife's spots that we say we're going to visit.
So I was blessed last year to go to Dubai.
Mm-hmm.
You need at least 2 weeks while you're there. It's so much to do.
Wow.
Yeah, you need some time because I was there for like 4 days and did not have enough time to do everything I wanted to do. You will really enjoy it. It's a beautiful place. A lot of things to do. I got a chance to ride a camel, so that was great. Feel that.
Yeah.
Be out in the desert, watch the sunset in the desert. So yeah, it is really a great time. So hopefully you and your wife will get a chance to do that.
Yeah. We got a chance to ride the camels and stuff when we went to Israel.
Oh,
So,
wow.
yeah. So that's a great place, and if you haven't been there, you got to make that a stop in your life.
Yeah, Israel's on the bucket list. Israel and Africa, those are like two of the bucket list places I definitely want to go to.
Okay.
Speaking of family, you're a husband and a father. Talk about the importance of family in your life.
Family is very important. I don't know if you know, but I'm from East St. Louis, Illinois,
Mhm.
and I have a lot of family in Detroit. So, family. I was raised in a large family. It was 10 of us, brothers and sisters, and my dad was a big family man. I mean, he rallied to hold us together, make us treat each other kindly, and raised us with family values. And so family is a big thing to me, even though my family is not, I didn't have that many children. Matter of fact, I had one natural child, but I got three daughters, that are mine. I call them mine, So we believe in a close nucleus, and I don't try to sweat my children or my wife, but I'm just there for them whenever they need me, whenever I can be that father that I need to be. I am there. for that, and I believe in that. I believe that, um, you know, my son, uh, he was having some problems, some issues and
Mm.
things, and I told him, I wasn't trying to get in his business or anything, but I was there for him. Whenever you need me. So when he called me, and say, Dad, I just need to talk, not so much about my situation, but I just need, you to talk to me. Listen, I dropped everything, and I try to be there for my family. So family is a big part of my life.
Wow. That's an awesome
Mhm.
testimony that you can be that father, that husband, especially raising a black male in these times where
Mhm.
things can go left real easily. How
Right.
do you have those conversations with your son, being a black male coming up in the era that we're coming up in now?
Well, I've tried to talk with him ever since he was a small boy. I tried to talk with him. I tried to steer him, in a direction, uh, um, where he wouldn't be sideswiped by the things of life. And with anyone, we all have to deal with some things that's going to happen. I mean, regardless of you being a parent, you cannot guard your children from everything. But I've tried to, uh, educate him in a way where he would expect certain things to happen to him. My daughter, I've done the same thing with her, or with them, and it's just a matter of trying to um, uh, create a a template, if you will, for them to live by, so that they won't uh, crumble, and be crushed by the circumstantial things that in life that will happen to them. I mean, because some of those things makes us grow, you
Right.
know and so it's certain things that's going to happen, regardless, and you cannot guard them from it. But if you've given them a template, at least that template will give them what they need to navigate that uh, part of their life.
Think you've also set an example yourself by getting 2 degrees. You have a degree, a bachelor's in business administration, and
Mhm.
also a master's of organizational management.
Mhm.
Why do you feel it's important to always continue your educational journey?
Well, because I think that education is um, the way, I don't want to say the way out, but it's the way through.
Mm.
Um, because the more education that you have, and I'm not talking about just academic education, but because my father was not an academically educated man. He only had a sixth grade education.
Wow.
But my dad had a PhD in life, and he would sit us down and talk to us about real things in life that would, that we would more than likely have to go through. Even as it relates to our race, he would, let us know you're Black. And because of that, there's some things that you're going to have to do better than the next person just to be able to get what that white hue person has gotten. So and that's no throw off on white people, but that's just a fact that that my dad educated us on. So I went to college, and I was the first one to graduate, I believe, from college. Out of all 10 of the children, only 2 of us graduated, me and my sister. And so I changed my major. I went to Bethune-Cookman College. When I graduated from high school, I had 13 scholarship offers.
Wow.
I had scholarship, and so I had 13 scholarship offers, and my jazz band instructor really pushed for me to go to an HBCU college, because I had scholarships from University of Illinois, Wesleyan University, can't think of it's so many, but it skips on my mind. Edwardsville University, so many different universities. But I went to Bethune-Cookman, following the advice of my jazz band instructor. And I went there, and my major was music when I first went. My first 2 years, it was music. And then I just began to think, and I said, music is something that's just a part of me, and I can do that, whether I have a music degree or not. And I said, let me try to have something else, attached to my name, where I can go and have some options. And so I changed my major to business administration and my minor to music. So I got all of the music theory that was necessary for a music major. And then I changed my major to business and went to summer school and caught up and all of that. So when I graduated from school, I, moved to Philadelphia, worked for a record company, all of that, and ended up in Florida, back in Florida, in Jacksonville, Florida, where I became a full-time minister of music at one of the large Baptist churches here in Jacksonville. And then after, I was called to preach and started my own church from the ground, and decided to go back and get my master's in business, because there were some things that I wanted to do in the business world. And I thought that, having that master's degree would kind of give me a hands up, if you will. So yeah, that's kind of how all of that happened. And then I, went to the summer, what's that? Oh Lord, I can't even think of it right now. But anyway, I did that to prepare myself to do some business deals that I had to do.
You mentioned your band director. Who were some of the other people that influenced you as a musician when you were growing up?
Well, as a musician, I had quite a few persons that influenced me. There's a guy named Malcolm Speed. He's in St. Louis, Missouri, and
Wait a minute. I may not have the best of anything, but
that's
will
right.
be the best of it. Yes.
Yep. Malcolm Speed, Sonny Ward, Greg Haynes, Happy Guitar. And so those were some of the folk out of the church that influenced me. Then there was my jazz band director and my marching band director, Mr. Dupart. And then when they got me more into jazz, I was listening, to several jazz pianists, Joe Sample, um, uh, just a cadre of pianists and other artists that influenced me, and having the experience of uh, doing different types of jazz, straight ahead jazz, in jazz, all of these contemporary jazz, all of these different styles. It influenced my thoughts and my playing so much so until you know that is the that made me mixed breed, if you will. I had so many different influences, and I played so many different instruments, because I was a curious guy, as a child. So when I got to the band room, I was like picking up the trumpet, I, I was going, playing the vibraphones, the trombone, the tuba, the bassoon when I got to college. I was just, I played about, yeah, man, I played about 11 or 12 instruments, and I'm not just talking about just tinkling around on them. I got pretty good on them, So,
Wow.
everybody used to mess with me because they say, man, you better learn how to play that your instrument, or else Bruce gonna come over here and play it for you.
Hilarious. Let's do another random question.
Okay.
So we talked earlier about where you would like to go. Name a place on earth you have no desire to visit.
Russia.
I could see that.
North Korea. No, I don't have any desire to go to those places.
Especially right now. It's too crazy in the world. I first heard of you back in the 90s with the debut release of Allen and Allen, featuring Alan Wiggins on saxophone, and of course you on piano. How did the two of you meet, and how did you end up performing and recording together?
Oh man, that's an interesting question. The way Alan and I met, well, there was a brief rubbing of shoulders because Alan started college the year that I graduated. So when I graduated, he was coming to summer school. And you know how it is when you graduate from college, you still going around the college, you still, because you can't, you just can't get rid of that, I was in the marching band. I became a drum major in the band, so I thought, I thought I was smelling my lips, I thought, I could do something. So Alan came to college. I didn't even know he played sax. I mean, I met him in a hall, just like, hey, what's up, man? Like that. But I really met him to know who he was after I had come to Jacksonville, and his dad knew my pastor. And Alan was going from church to church, trying to sell his records. He was a solo artist then, and he was, selling his records out the trunk of his car, and then he was going to different churches, doing little concerts and things like that. So he set up a concert at the church I was at. I was ministering music, and of course, my choir opened up and all of that, and so he was impressed with, my choir. He was impressed with my plan and all of that and asked me if I would put together a band for him, because he had to go to New York and play in Carnegie Hall and do some other gigs up there in New York. So I told him, yes, I'll put a band together for you. So I put a band together. We went to New York. We did the New York circle. And so he told me when we got back, he said, because Alan is from Orlando, Florida. Now, Orlando is about a 2-hour drive away from Jacksonville. And so he told me when we got back, hey, man, Doc, oh, man, I have so much trouble trying to get the mic back, man, when I give you a solo, he said, man, I got so much trouble. Man, how about you teaming up with me, man, and we just be an act together. So I said, cool, man. I said, since your first name is Allen, my last name Allen is spelled the same, why don't we call ourselves Allen and Allen? And the rest is history.
I did not know. I always thought both of your last names were Allen, and I didn't realize until I read your bio, his first name is Allen and your last name is Allen.
Correct. Yeah. Most people believe that we're brothers.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we're closest brothers, but we're no blood kin.
Kind of like how people think BB and CC were married. From 94 to 2003, Allen and Allen recorded 7 projects. What are some of the highlights and some opportunities that the two of you experienced during that time period?
Oh man, I think one of the highlights was just getting signed to CGI. The guy was the president of CGI. I can't not remember his name right now, but he was a white guy, of course, and he called us in his office. We had sent him our stuff through a young man that was representing us, and he called us in, and he said, if you all can tell me how this is gospel music, I'll sign you. And so, me and Al, we put on our spiel, we start talking. And he said, well, that sounds good. I'm gonna sign you guys. Yeah. And so that was one highlight. Another highlight was winning the Stellas, because I don't know if people realize how difficult it is for an artist to win the Stellas. All of the hoops you have to go through, and and we won the Stella twice. Wow. And that was a highlight of our career, but there's just so many highlights, not the things that bring accolades, but the times that we have performed. One time we performed, we were on the stage, same stage. I don't know how they got us on the stage, but we was at a festival. I think it was in New Orleans, and the Brat had just performed, and we performed behind her. And now, normally we would perform on the jazz stage, but some kind of way they mixed us up and put us, on the stage with the R&B singers, and we performed, and did our, and so in a certain segment of our song, we talked, and so, and I said I said just want to let you all know that that we're two preachers and we're a gospel group. And the people, the folk was, had their 40s, beer and everything, they were just going. So when I said that, they started pulling their 40s down, and and I was like, don't y'all change up. I said, I'm just letting y'all know who we are. And so when we came off stage, I never forget, it was a young man that was standing at the gate or fence or whatever, where they wouldn't let people in the crowd come back to where the artists were, but he was saying, come here, man. So I walked up, me and Alan walked up, and he said, hey man, I'm gonna tell you something, man. I'm gonna tell you just like this, man. I just got out of jail, man. And a brother in jail brought me one of y'all tapes, man. And I let me hear it. That's when tapes was out. Let me hear. And man, he let me hear it, man. And man, that music did something to me, man. I'm telling you, it's just the music, man, that just did something to my heart, man. And I just cried out to Jesus, man. I cried out, man. I just cried out, man. I said, if you real, Jesus, just save me. And so that was, probably one of the biggest highlights of my career. Because that's what my career is all about. It's about the music touching someone's heart, spreading the gospel through Jesus Christ. And so, those are some of the highlights of my career.
Man, in reading your bio, one of the things that kind of stuck out to me, you went through, I'm going to call it a Job experience. And during that time, you lost your ability to play piano. You're a preacher, you're a man of God, you trust God. At any point during that time period, did you ever question God about why he took away your ability to play?
Oh, man. Man, I was crying, man, crying every day. Because I just couldn't believe it. One morning you get up, everything is working. The next morning you get up, your speech is kind of crazy. You can't talk, and stroke wasn't even nowhere in my thoughts. I didn't even, I didn't even think about I was having a stroke. I thought it was kind of funny that I was having, problems trying to get words out and things like that. And I went on, prepared for my noonday Bible study and got to church to teach my class. By the time I got to that noonday Bible study, I could hardly say anything. Oh, wow. I went and got my blood pressure taken, and my blood pressure was fine. And I called my wife on the phone and I said, babe, something ain't right. barely able to get those words out. I said, let's go to the doctor. So we went to the doctor, to our primary care doctor, and he took all my vitals and stuff, and he was getting ready to send me home. Said, just go home and get some rest. And my wife told him, said, no, you need to talk to him. You need to talk to him and see what's wrong with him. And he talked to me, and instead of him sending me directly to the hospital, but by this time I had missed that 3 or 4 hour window where they could reverse, the stroke. And he sent me somewhere else to get some more tests done. And so needless to say, I never went back to him again. But, I had a stroke. I had an ischemic stroke, a clot in my artery.
Oh, wow.
Stopped the blood from going to my head. And so I was asking God daily, I mean, God, what did I do so bad that you would take your gift away from me? What did I do? I was crying out. Depression was setting in. I sat at the keyboards, couldn't play. And God was silent. God was silent. He wasn't saying anything. And I thought about this preacher I had heard preach, and he said, when the teacher is giving the class a test, the teacher doesn't talk. He doesn't talk to the students. Students are asking questions. The teacher doesn't say anything. And so at that time, it occurred to me that God was testing me. I was going through a test, and I was saying, God, what, why won't you talk to me? You won't say nothing. And it was about a year and a half down the road when I heard God, speak to me. And, wasn't no big, bruise, or, it was just a still small voice internally that said to me, Bruce, if you trust me, I can do more with what you have left than what you had before.
Wow. Praise God.
And man, I was in a state of ambiguity then, because I was happy because of what God said, but I was sad because I was looking at what I could do right then. And I was wondering how am I going to get back, to where I was. And so God took me through that was in 2007. In 2019, God gave me my first song. And so it was a 12-year period of progressive healing, God healing me over those times and showing things about myself that I needed to know, and I needed to heal, and I needed to do things differently over a 12-year period.
Wow.
So God gave me the song that I called Come Back.
Which is your latest single.
Yes, that's my single. That's my single, Come Back. And God gave me that song. And 12 is a biblical number, 12 disciples, So anyway, God did a miracle. He worked a miracle over time and brought me back in a different way. My playing is not the same as it was before stroke, but it's different. But God gave me back a way to do things differently.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm just grateful. I'm grateful to God. We just had a CD release party yesterday, and that went off amazingly. Sold out crowd. The people were so receptive of the music, and I was just grateful, man. I was almost in tears. Yeah.
I did get a chance to see a little bit. One of my friends, my big brother, Greg Pearson, is in Jacksonville. So he posted a little bit of the release. So I did get a chance to see a little bit of you playing and singing.
Okay.
Let's talk a little bit more about Comeback. You've kind of led up to the story behind it, but now let's talk about what it feels to be back putting out music. You did the comeback, but now you're back. How does this moment in time feel for you?
Man, it feels great. It feels great. It feels good. It's a little scary because I don't have Alan with me, and we were kind of each other's shoulder. If one, doesn't do so well, then the other one would step up to the bat,
Mm.
and pull the chain. So, but now, it's all on me, and that makes it a little scary. But I am confidently engaged in this because I know I have purpose. God was constantly urging my spirit and saying to my spirit, Bruce, I'm not through with you yet. I still have more to do through you and with you. And so, I'm on this comeback tour, if you will, and my perspective, on life and is different now, because when you lose something, and then God gives it back to you, you then have that you have that knowledge of what it feels like not to have it.
Mm.
And so you guard it more and you treasure it more. uh so because that it doesn't have to be there.
Right.
So God have given me a new perspective, a new respect for what he's given me in terms of my gifting, even my preaching. All of that was affected. I could not think. I could not speak. I had to go through speech therapy. I had to go through physical therapy. All of these things. My right hand, my whole right side was weakened, and my hand, my thumb was retracting within my hand, and all of that stuff, was going wrong. So all of that happened to me, and so I'm just happy and glad that God has given me another opportunity to do this.
Man, this conversation has been a blessing. Thank you so much for being transparent. Thank you for sharing. If people want to get your music, if they want to contact you, if they want to follow you on social media, how can they reach out to you?
They can reach out to me through my excuse me, through my website. My website is BV Allen Music, bvallenmusic.org, bvallenmusic.org. And you could go to my website, and find out things about me. You could contact me there. There's contact there. You can hear a clip of my music. You can order my music, my merchandise. I just did t-shirts that are available. My comeback tour 2024 t-shirts, and you can learn all things about me there. You could follow me at on Facebook, Bruce V. Allen. You can contact me on Instagram, bruce.v.allen, bishopbruce.v.allen. on Instagram. So, all of those ways you can reach out and touch me.
And like I said, this has been so awesome. Before we wrap up, take in about a minute's time, speak to somebody that's excuse me. A lot of times we as men, when we get to a certain place in life, we question our ability to remain relevant. But I've kind of hear you talking in the comeback, how to overcome that. So speak to someone who may be in that place in life where they feel like it's over for me, how they can come back.
Yeah, well, I would say first tell people, if I don't care how bad it looks, we have to learn not to look at where our present circumstance and situation is. We have to learn to trust God, because understand God rules everything. God is the ruler of everything. He's over everything. So if he's over everything, that means that he can speak to anything. That's why, the word says, we have to speak certain things into existence. So whatever you're going through, just trust God. Trust God. Keep your faith and trust in him and listen to his instructions. And I guarantee he will instruct you, guide you, and navigate you through the very thing that you thought was going to take you out. It'll bring you through.
Wow. Thank you so much, everybody. Again, you're listening to the Carl B. Phillips Show. My guest, Bishop Bruce V. Allen. That preacher came out in him right there. Make sure you get his new single, Comeback, beautiful instrumental song. And as we close, as a reminder, remember to work like you don't need the money, love like you've never been hurt, and dance like no one's watching you. God bless until we have a chance to meet again. Take care.
Thank you.
The Carl B. Phillips Show.
Thank you for listening to the Carl B. Phillips Show. For more information, go to carlbphillips.com.
The Carl B. Phillips Show.
Follow Carl B. Phillips on Instagram so we can stay in contact with each other.